It's huge! It only has 2 minifigures. It's not perfect, but it's still so awesome. Wanna know more? Welcome to the review. Hey there, LEGO fans! This is the long-awaited UCS Republic Gunship, or Low Altitude Assault Transport / Infantry, or as I like to call it. This is set number 75309. With 3,292 pieces. Some more hard data for you. The wingspan is about 75 centimeters from tip to tip. That's about 30 inches. And lengthwise, from the tip of the nose to the end of the tail right here, that would be about 70 centimeters or 27, 28 inches, somewhere around there. And once built, it weighs in at about 3.4 kilos or 7.5 pounds. That's without the stand. That's just the ship itself. It is absolutely huge. You're gonna have to free up some serious space if you want to display it. It is, though, mostly hollow. There's a lot of Technic building on the inside, to which you then attach a bunch of sections. And I would say I think the wings are the most massive and heaviest part of the build. They're actually 3 plates thick along the whole length, along most of their length. So you could say that they are thick as a brick. The original in-universe ship has a relatively smooth exterior, which I think really benefits from the LEGO treatment in this case, because the studs kind of break up the surface into little areas of interest. Not only are there details on the outer surface, there are also things hidden away, like, for example, the air-to-air rockets mounted beneath the wings, 4 on each of them. There are also 2 more on each side door, but this may have been a design goof, because if you look at the official Star Wars cross-sections book, the image does show the tips of 2 somethings peeking out from behind the door, but in the same image you can see the other door from the opposite side, and they clearly aren't rockets. They're some other thing. So I don't know, I haven't watched every second of footage of the gunship ever screened, so I can't be sure. Star Wars buffs, feel free to chime in the comments and clarify if you want to. Other armaments include these twin laser cannons here up at the front on ball joints, followed by 2 laser turrets inside the bubble canopies, a very trademark look of the gunship. These can actually open up, and you can see the seat and the controls in there. And not only that, but you can actually swing them to inside the ship like that. Close the door on them. Same thing on the other side. Just swing it right around, close the door in, and that gives it a bit of a different look right there. And we have 2 more bubble canopies on the tips of each wing. Well, 1 on the tip of each wing. And they're right here. These are the remotely guided laser dishes, which, to my understanding, fire using a similar principle to that of the Death Star super laser. It even kind of looks like the Death Star super laser right there. They use tributary beams which merge into one precise blast. Now, these don't actually roll around freely as they would in universe within the wing, but I mean, it would have been extremely costly and difficult to make them so there's no complaint here actually. Well, maybe there is one complaint. I mean, they do look a bit hollow, especially compared to some of the reference material. Some of the pictures I've seen show that bubble canopy like full of all kinds of conduits and technology stuff. It just kind of looks kind of empty on this one. There's also a tail cannon on a ball joint right here, right above the rear loading ramp. And the loading ramp itself opens down like so. Now, a speeder bike would have been very welcome here. Unfortunately, they didn't include one, but I do appreciate the fact that it has just the right amount of friction to stay closed once you put it back up. Now we move up to the big guns, the mass driver missile launchers. You can see the projectile feeding belts here, and they are geared to rotate together, which looks really nice. However, this is where I feel that they really could have done better. The smoothness and frankly the plainness of the cannons is really not up to UCS par for me personally. They could have done a little better, brought in a little more detail, like the heat sinks that should have been right here. I just feel like this was kind of glossed over. Working our way back towards the front, we get to the main cockpit, or cockpits, I guess. Pilot up front and co-pilot or gunner behind. Now, you have to be a little careful when removing these. They're a really tight fit, but that's what the inside looks like. Now remember, this is not to minifig scale. Theoretically, it is not built to fit them. However, you can actually fit a minifig right in there, like that. And I'll be honest with you, it actually looks pretty natural. It closes up the whole way, it looks pretty good. The interior is sparsely detailed, but there's plenty of it, even in the forward section actually. So if you want to add stuff, you've got plenty of room for it. I love the shaping of this area, by the way. It's almost one-to-one perfect. The set comes with a fixed stand that fits nicely. They went kind of generic with the info on the ship, but that's nothing new. And you have 2 minifigs included. Mace Windu and a Phase 1 Clone Trooper. Both of these look really good and are exclusive to this set. Mace Windu has a little bit of dirt on his robes, and I'm very happy with the details on the clone. They even gave him toe prints. Overall, the model looks amazing. There's no denying that it's big and impressive. I think my favorite part of the whole build, the way it looks, I mean, is the front part right here, especially the way these curves all work together, and these pieces in lime green right here. I'm gonna have to deduct points for the mass driver cannons up here because I don't know what happened. Maybe it was a parts budget issue, or I really don't know, but it's such a shame. It could have been a 10 out of 10 for looks if it weren't for the cannons, but as it is, it's gonna be a 9 out of 10. The included functions are enough, to be honest. I mean, it's not made to be a toy that you can swoosh around. It's very rear heavy, I'll tell you that, and kind of tricky to pick up. You can kind of do it by putting your hands on the inside here, and I'm 90% sure that at some point during the design process, they tried to add maybe a handle or something here, something that you can mask, that you can hide away, but it didn't work out. But for what it is, I think it does just as much as it needs to, so I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10 for that. Now, regarding pieces, there are some new ones, like these 2 back here, which you can see more clearly in this picture. Now, for the life of me, I can't understand why they don't have clutch power along that vertical slit, but I hope they change that in the future. The canopies and the control consoles inside, as well as the bubble canopies here on the sides and on the wings, are prints. The rest of the decorations are stickers, but honestly, you could easily leave them out. They don't really add much detail. A lot of the color blocking is done using parts. And it was a bit difficult to attach the round stickers, especially since some of them are not quite cut perfectly centered. So overall part score is an 8 out of 10. I mean, being a UCS set, it is kind of by default a very good parts donor. There are really good prints, the special prints that are made especially for this set. But other than that, there's just a bunch of gray plates and white plates and dark red bricks and stuff. So let's not let the UCS moniker skew our perspective. The build itself was very nice, varied, and there's a lot of symmetrical building involved here, so you can kind of cheat and do these mirror builds where you build, for example, both wings at the same time. You just do them symmetrically. You can save time like that. There are some tricky assemblies that require a bit of extra attention, like attaching these panels underneath the wing, but it's very satisfying once they click there into place. So overall, a score of 9 out of 10, but it could be an 8 out of 10 for you if you decide not to do the whole simultaneous symmetrical building thing, because then it might seem a bit repetitive during certain sections. Oh, and you can also watch the whole build right on our channel. Did you know that? Minifigures. Oh boy, you may not like what I have to say about this. Actually, I don't even know if I like what I have to say about this, but I think LEGO made the right call. This is, after all, a UCS ship, Ultimate Collector's Series. It has to be as big as LEGO can make it. The fans would expect no less. The consequence of that, however, is that it would look just silly to have it like filled up with these tiny little people, and they're all huddled up together. It would just kind of take away from the overall look of the thing. So I think just including 2 minifigures for the display stand, I think that was the right decision. But on the other hand, I wanted a full crew with pilots and gunners and Jedi Bob. I mean, I thought that was such a cool idea by the fans to include Jedi Bob. He's awesome. Alas, doing that would have made the set more expensive, more prohibitive, so I think it was the right thing to do. However, I don't agree with the choice of minifigures. I could have done without Mace Windu. I could have done without that clone right there, actually. And I think the best combination would have been a clone pilot and a clone gunner. That would have been a 10 out of 10 for me, but as it is right now, I'm gonna go with a 7 out of 10. So my overall score is a very solid 8.6 out of 10. I love this thing. I've dreamed about it even since before LEGO revealed this vote competition thing. So I'm very happy to have it in front of me, that I can touch it and I can look at it from every angle, and it fills me with so much joy. One more thing before I leave. I want to officially declare open the race to see who's gonna be first to modify this thing to make it look like the Munilis 10 gunship. Good luck. And as always, happy building.